Welcome to another edition of Morning Date, where we get to meet people who are passionate about their work and who are happy to share their impactful stories. Well, our guest today has an impressive background with experiences in the scientific world that are extremely relevant and current. 오늘의 주인공은 의학자이면서 혁신 경영 분야의 권위자인 오간 구렐 교수님이십니다. Hello and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, Sue, with EBS.
Yes. Would you like to say hello to our listeners first of all and give us a brief intro?
Sure. First of all, hello. 안녕하십니까? Just in terms of background, I have a fairly broad background in medicine, science, academia, business, both large and small companies, as well as consulting. And so that's pretty broad, but I would say my major focus in general is in innovation, 혁신, and more specifically in healthcare innovation.
All right. Well, we'll try to cover as many of those fields as possible in the limited time that we have today. Well, let's start off with FRT, Field Robot Technology.
Yes. So Field Robot Technology, I work as a Chief Scientific Officer. It is a Korean company founded by Jang Jae-ho, Dr. Jang Jae-ho, and it is a wearable exoskeleton robot. And this helps people to move, to lift. You sort of see like Terminator and those sorts of things. And so very much the future. And the applications are in construction, logistics, warehousing, healthcare, lifting patients.
Yeah, I think I read an article not too long ago about how this was used in construction.
That's right.
Because, you know, these can get very heavy and for manual labor,
Yes.
it would help.
Yes, and warehousing.
Yeah.
And then, as I mentioned, healthcare. So there are two important issues. There's worker safety, prevent back injury, prevent joint degeneration over time, chronic use. And the other one, of course, is increased productivity. Lift more weights, lift more efficiently. So safety and productivity. I should add another application is defense. So soldiers
in wartime, for example.
Soldiers, peacetime, wartime. Soldiers with heavy backpacks, heavy equipment. And another application is 소방차, firefighters.
Yes.
They are going upstairs with oxygen tanks or other equipment. So safety and productivity are important benefits and applications for this technology. And as you mentioned, it's been in the news. There are other companies, but we believe we have some unique solutions.
아하, 그렇군요. 일단은 이제 의학에 종사하시면서도 이제 혁신 경영 분야의 전문가신데 그 중에서 FRT, Field Robot Technology에 대한 얘기를 해주셨습니다. 최근에 그 라스베이거스에서 있었던 CES 2020 이 전시회에서도 엑소스켈레톤 로봇이라고 해서 입을 수 있는 로봇이라고 해야 될까요? 굉장히 단순하게 표현하면은 그런데 이게 건축을 할 때도 사용이 될 수도 있고 아니면은 전쟁 대비를 위해서 군인들이 사용할 수도 있고요. 소방대원들이 사용할 수도 있고, 네, 여러 가지 상황에서 사용이 될 수 있는데 크게 두 가지의 중점을 두고 있다. 하나는 착용하는 사람들의 안전, 그리고 두 번째는 이제 효율성. 일을 좀 효율적으로 빠르게 잘 하는 것이 또 굉장히 중요한 점이 되겠죠. Yeah, I've only ever read about these things, and it's just incredible to meet someone who's at the center of this. You mentioned earlier on that you are the CSO, the Chief Scientific Officer, of this technology. Tell us also about wearable robots in general and how this one stands out. What makes this one different?
Well, there are a couple of important aspects. One is that it's a passive exoskeleton, so it's not battery powered, which leads to lower weight and much lower cost. It's also ergonomically designed, and there's some features with our partners. And as CSO, I bring a lot of global partners and other technologies in a convergent way to make this even more advanced. So ergonomic design, and it's also very importantly field tested. So we've actually
Right.
done studies, for example, with people already with back pain and knee pain, even though it's for people who may not have these problems to prevent it. But
Yeah.
we've done some studies, we've shown people lifting twice as much with the passive device, and with 10 or 20% less knee pain and back pain. Now, the low cost is very important because if you look at the concept of disruptive innovation, everyone talks about disruptive innovation. How does disruptive innovation come? It comes with lower cost, very different market disrupting innovations. So we view this as a really disruptive innovation. There's some of these battery powered, very expensive versions, but if you imagine a factory or a warehouse having hundreds or thousands of these, it won't happen unless you have a true low-cost solution.
Of course. 가격 면에서 경쟁력을 가지고 있는 그런 passive devices, wearable robots를 개발 중이다 이런 말씀을 해주셨는데요. 건전지를 사용하지 않기 때문에 덜 무겁고 그 다음에 어떤 이제 인체공학적으로도 훨씬 착용하기가 편하고 그 예를 들자면 뭐 건설 현장에서 뭐 허리라든지 무릎에 가는 그런 무리를 좀 줄여줄 수 있는 그런 착용 가능한 로봇에 대한 얘기를 지금 잠깐 해주셨습니다. For these passive devices, do you charge them and then, because you said they don't use batteries,
yeah, I should
how
have
do they
explained a
work?
little bit more.
Yeah.
So they have the patented, very special hydraulic technology.
I see.
So Dr. Jang Jae-ho 박사님 developed some of this very advanced technology that enables this extra capability without the use of a battery.
아하, 그렇군요. 건전지를 사용하지 않고도 작동 가능한 기술을 이제 장재호 교수님과 함께 개발했다는 얘기까지 해주셨습니다. Have you ever tried wearing one of these?
Yes,
Oh,
it
okay.
definitely has that lifting effect. And I can imagine if you were lifting continuously like a warehouse worker or a firefighter, that this would ease the stress on the joints and make possible more workout.
그러니까 기술 개발과 함께 이제 건강도 동시에 생각을 하다 보니까 이런 장비가 나오지 않았나 하는 생각이 듭니다. Now you also work with another company, Eidwear. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, Eidwear is a digital healthcare company.
Eidwear.
Eidwear,
Sorry,
yeah,
yes,
that's okay.
I mispronounced it.
Eidwear is a also Korean company, digital healthcare company. They have voice recognition technology, which is specially tuned for the elderly. And then the second product they have is called SoundMind. It's a computerized cognitive training system for dementia prevention, 치매 예방. And that's an extremely important problem worldwide, aging of the population, dementia. And we've developed a very good user interface, comprehensive, clinically tested application, both hardware and software, that we've done a clinical trial in Korea. We have an ongoing clinical trial in Japan. We've done a study in Singapore. I was in Singapore last week. And we have an ongoing clinical trial at Ohio State University in the United States. So that's very important, this clinical validation. Lots of people are getting interested in this dementia prevention system.
So how does this system work? You said it's voice activated?
Well, voice recognition is a part of it, but it's
Okay.
also visual and
What can you do with
basically
it?
you do
Yeah.
games.
Oh, okay. I
Rock,
see.
paper, scissors, visual, spatial. It
get it, right.
tests the multiple dimensions of cognition. So memory, language, visuospatial, executive function, attention. The American Academy of Neurology has a whole series of cognitive domains, and it comprehensively trains people 45 minutes twice a week in this. So for example, we saw in our Korean study, which we published last year, 6 to 7% improvement in language function
Wow.
and memory.
And this is for ages...
This is for, that's a good question. If people have dementia, very advanced, this doesn't work. This is more like a prevention. So mild cognitive impairment, or what we call the worried well, or people who might have risk factors, this has this positive effect.
I see. And the age where people actually see the onset of dementia, I think, is going down, because in the past people used to think, dementia is linked to the very elderly, but not so much these days. So technology like this would be very useful.
That's right. I mean, one of the very important things in medicine and innovation is how can we prevent disease?
Yeah.
There's a lot of technology around the cure, but prevention is very important.
그렇군요. 치매 예방에 좋은 두뇌 그 개발 프로그램이라고 해야 될까요? 두뇌 훈련 프로그램도 지금 개발 중이신다고. 네, 사운드 마인드라고 하는 프로그램도 개발을 하셨는데, 음성 인식도 되고 여러 가지 게임을 통해서 두뇌를 훈련을 시키면서 치매를 예방할 수 있는, 그러니까 아주 초기 단계에 있는 분들이 사용하면 좋은 프로그램이라고 합니다. 실질적으로도 실험상으로 봤을 때 굉장히 그 지능의 레벨이 올라간 것을 확인할 수 있었다, 이런 얘기까지 해주셨습니다. Well, you seem to be juggling so many different balls, so to speak. What is your academic background, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, as I mentioned, I have the medical, scientific, and academic. I did my undergraduate degree in biochemistry at Harvard. I actually worked with Martin Karplus. He's a famous professor who got Nobel Prize in 2013 in biophysics.
Right.
We can talk a little later about that.
Yeah.
And then I worked in France, did some research there, and then went to medical school at Columbia University in New York City and got a medical degree. And also I did a master's degree in biophysics as well. And then I did the residency in America. I did a lot of business things related to that. I got very interested into a scientific idea, which we can talk about later, and made transition into the business and innovation world. And 9 years ago, I actually came to Samsung 종합기술원, Samsung Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, Samsung Advanced Institute of Technology, SITE, in order to bring some of these ideas to fruition.
And you've been a professor at D just for...
And then after SITE, I spent 4.5 years at Samsung. I did a lot of innovation projects and became a professor at DIGIS, Daegu Gyeongbok Kwakisolwan, Daegu Gyeongbok Institute of Science and Technology, where we can talk later. I teach innovation and bioelectromagnetics.
네, 굉장히 화려한 이력을 가지고 계십니다. 터키계 미국인인 구렐 교수님은 학부는 이제 하버드대에서 생화학 전공을 하시고요. 졸업 후 콜럼비아대에서 의학석 박사를 취득하셨고, 매사추세츠 종합병원에서 레지던트 등의 수련 과정도 밟으셨습니다. 그 외에 여러 기업과 연구원에서 또 활동을 하셨고요. 한국에 오신 지는 이제 근 10년 정도 됐다고 보면 될까요? 네, 그리고 현재 대구 경북과학기술원에서 교수님으로 재직하신 지는 한 3년 정도 된 것으로 요약을 할 수 있을 것 같습니다. Well, we'll hear more about you and also talk more about biophysics, as you mentioned earlier on, after a song break. Let's listen to Asher Brooke, Someone to Watch Over Me. You're listening to Morning Date. And we have in the studio this morning Dr. Ogan Gurel sitting with us. 웨어러블 필드 로봇 등 혁신가의 마인드를 항상 추구하시는 오간 구렐 교수님과 함께 하고 있습니다. 이제 조금 전에 화려한 이력에 대한 얘기도 나눠봤고요. 웨어러블 로봇에 대한 얘기, 그 다음에 이런 기술과 어떤 건강, 의학, 접목에 대한 얘기도 잠시 나눠봤습니다. Let's talk about your love for the sciences briefly, if you don't mind me asking. Have you always loved the sciences?
Yes, actually, since I can earliest remember.
Yeah?
I've loved chemistry, biology, physics, and of course, throughout my education, I think science has been beautiful and wonderful. I should say one thing, that I actually don't view science and art as being different. I think they are on the continuum of our effort to understand the world. And that's why your opening poem by Edgar Allan Poe, Sonnet to Science, was really very appropriate. I think there is often a distinction between science and art. And I have many students in Korea, for example, I teach, and their students in high school go into the science track or the humanities track.
Right.
And sometimes they really separate. And I think that's a shame, because there are a lot of connections between, as illustrated in your poem. So I'll give an example. One of my favorite works of art is Henri Matisse. He has a famous work called L'Atelier Rouge, the Red Studio in the Museum of Modern Art in New York. And it is a painting of his studio. Now, it's not a very atom by atom, very detailed photograph. It is images of various things that he considers important in his studio, to give the viewer of this painting a feeling and an understanding of his studio. So then let's look at Newton's law of physics, F equals ma, force equals mass times acceleration. Of course, that's science, and it describes, but it's not precise either. If we do force equals mass times acceleration, do we know the mass to an infinite degree of precision? No, it's an approximation. There is, of course, a precision to it and a validity in the scientific method, but these are all approximations, and they're all related to how we try to understand reality, artistically or scientifically. Ultimately, it's the same thing.
They go hand in hand, is what you're saying.
That's right.
It's very interesting. 예술과 과학이 별개가 아니다라는 얘기를 해주셨어요. 앞서서 제가 그 에드거 앨런 포의 To Science라는 시를 오늘 준비해 왔는데, 이 시에서 보면은 시인이 과학을 굉장히 흥미로워합니다. 그러면서도 예술과 과학은 너무 다른 두 분야 아니냐 이런 얘기를 하는데, 교수님은 아니다. 왜냐라고 하면서 지금 이제 예를 하나 들어주셨는데요. 예를 들자면 굉장히 좋아하는 작품 중에 마티스 작품이 있는데, 거기에서는 이제 그 작가가 부각시키고 싶은 물건들이 이제 그림에 많이 부각이 돼 있습니다. 실제로 우리가 그냥 사진을 찍었을 때 보는 것과는 많이 다르죠. 근데 과학도 때로는 우리가 부각시키고 싶은 부분, 우리가 알고 싶은 부분들을 부각해서 그 부분만 이렇게 중점적으로 보기 때문에 그런 의미에서는 일맥상통하는 게 아니냐, 이런 얘기를 잠깐 해주셨습니다. I feel like it's also very philosophical, everything
It's
you're saying there.
philosophical,
Yeah, it is indeed.
Matisse has a famous quote, l'exactitude n'est pas la vérité, which is exactness is not the truth.
Wow.
How do you say it in 한국어?
정확한 것이 꼭 사실만은 아니다. 뭐 아인슈타인의 상대성 이론까지 그럼 우리가 가야 되나요? 그러면 어하, 그렇군요. 알겠습니다. 자, 과학을 어렸을 때부터 굉장히 좋아하셨다라는 얘기 하시면서 예술도 좋아하고 과학과 예술은 별개가 아니다라는 말씀을 해주셨는데요. 한국에 지금 뭐 이제 10년 가까이 살고 계시는데 어떻게 오셨는지 너무 궁금해요. What brought you to Korea?
So, as we mentioned in my background, I did my undergraduate work and my senior thesis at Harvard with Martin Karplus. And at that time, he was a world leader, pioneer in what's called protein dynamics. Proteins are the machinery of life.
I see.
And basically, the proteins are not solid, rigid molecules, they vibrate. So when I was in medical school at Columbia, I had a kind of idea that if these proteins are vibrating and they have positive and negative charges, then they must be emitting or absorbing electromagnetic radiation. These proteins are like radios.
Right.
So we are emitting this radiation, we are absorbing it. So to make a long story short, I have this idea about bioelectronics, bioelectromagnetism. In other words, how does electromagnetic waves relate to biology? So when Samsung was going into healthcare, about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I saw that they were interested in disruptive new approaches to medicine. Of course, it's a great electronics company, so you combine biology and electronics, and I thought maybe we can do this at Samsung. So that's why I came to Korea.
그 electromagnetics는 사실 어떻게 보면은 전자공학 분야고요. 그 다음에는 biology는 생물학 분야인데 이 두 분야에 대해서 늘 이제 호기심을 가지고 계셨고 학부생으로서 그때 이제 노벨상을 받으신 교수님과 함께 공부를 하면서도 늘 그런 쪽에 대한 궁금증, 호기심이 있었는데 마침 한국의 삼성에서 이런 분야에 연구를 한다라는 얘기를 듣고 그러면 한국에 가야겠다.
Yes, so it wasn't a specific project, specific plan, but the concept was to try to build this idea.
And you joined that whole initiative.
Well, that initiative didn't exist. I was hoping that I could develop that. So it's still in process.
그런 이제 생각이 오고 가고 있다. 그런 쪽으로 이제 한국이 개발을 하려고 한다라는 얘기를 듣고 삼성종합기술원에 오셔서 그런 아이디어를 조금 더 이제 승화시키는데 일조를 하신 것 같아요. Wow. And that was, as you said, 2011?
Around 2010 and 2011. So this is very interesting because this is an example of disruptive innovation, radical innovation.
Yes, so tell us a bit about that. In Korean, that would be 파괴적 혁신.
Yes, so it's not always easy, of course.
Yeah.
And this is a big challenge, not just Samsung or many companies. You have the cash cow.
Right.
You have the existing products. It's very difficult to just push those away and come up with something totally new to replace them.
Right.
So that's a big challenge. I study innovation, I teach innovation, and of course it sounds all good and easy, but it's not so easy.
Right. 결국은 우리가 돈에 대한 생각을 안 할 수가 없고요. 상업적인 측면과 그 다음에 이게 어떤 건강 측면에서 또 효율적인 측면에서 또 어떻게 서로 보완을 해가면서 혁신을 우리가 이룰 수 있을까를 고민하는 얘기를 지금 잠깐 해주셨습니다. Now let's talk also about your current place of work, which is Digest.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So as we talked earlier, I work with FRT and Eatware. So I'm actually part-time at Digest. I teach at Digest. And I teach two courses. One is an overview of innovation for the undergraduates. It's a convergence course. So I talk about what is innovation, all the different dimensions of innovation. I talk about the history of innovation, such as Leonardo da Vinci, Zhang Yongshil, the Renaissance, and so forth. I talk about the government policy in innovation. I talk about the neurobiology of creativity. So it's a true innovation convergence course, excuse me. And then the second course I teach is actually on bioelectromagnetics. And it's also an overview course on how electromagnetic radiation and biology intersect. So for example, we know about X-rays.
Yeah.
X-rays are very well understood. We use it for X-ray diagnosis. Those are electromagnetic radiation. The visible light that I can see you and you can see me is electromagnetic radiation at a distance. So there's many aspects to this, and I teach an overview course on bioelectromagnetics.
And how far have we come in this field of bioelectromagnetics? What's the most advanced thing we can see around us?
Well, the most advanced thing is this concept of the protein vibrations. So that's not current technology now. X-rays are old technology, over 100 years.
Yes.
Radio waves are old technology. Microwave, old technology. I'll give you an example of this sort of example of biology and this radiation. You know those new airport scanners?
Yes.
Where you put your hands up in Terminal 2 of Incheon
right, yes.
or in the Miguk airports. Those are called millimeter wave detectors. Millimeter waves are emitted by the human body, living organisms, so it's the natural, this radiation that we talked about, but a concealed weapon, which is made of metal, not protein, does not emit that. So they can see an image and they can see the contrast between the living part and the weapon, and they say, oh, that's a hidden weapon. That's how that works. So those airport detectors, scanners, are a form of bioelectromagnetics.
아, 그렇군요. 우리가 쉽게 이해할 수 있도록 제가 좀 사례를 하나 들어주세요 라고 부탁을 드렸는데 잘 이해가 되는 그 공항의 예를 설명해 주셨습니다. 공항에서 우리가 이제 보안 검색을 받게 될 때 그 밀리미터 웨이브 디텍터라는 검사 도구를 사용한다고 합니다. 그런데 손을 들고 이렇게 쭉 훑죠. 근데 이게 어떻게 보면은 이제 현존하는 바이오 엘렉트로매그네틱 장치 중에서는 좀 최신이다 이렇게 볼 수 있겠습니다. 우리 몸에서 내뿜는 그런 뭐 단백질이 아닌 것들을 추적해낸다. 그러니까 그 아닌 것들은 예를 들자면 무기, 뭐 총 같은 거 그것을 바로 이 디텍터로 우리가 감지해낼 수 있다고 합니다.
So you can imagine that if you have a detector that's even more precise, more tuned to certain parts of the body, that could be used for medical purposes.
Yeah.
So the airport is very simple and general, but if we can have even more specificity, that's a form of medical diagnosis.
And is work being done to do that?
Some work, and that's what I'm interested in helping to bring to reality.
아하, 그렇군요. 이렇게 공항에서뿐만 아니라 좀 더 정교하게 우리의 몸을 훑어서 몸 안에 어떤 이상이 있다든지 그럴 때 그것을 또 이런 방법으로 찾아낼 수 있으면 좋겠다라는 생각으로 개발 중에 있다. 이런 말씀을 해주셨습니다. Okay, well let's take another song break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about your book, Waves. Wayne Brady의 Ordinary 듣고 와서 얘기 더 나누도록 하겠습니다. You're listening to Morning Date, and today we are with a true Renaissance man, if you don't mind me saying so. Now, while you're making use of all your expertise in today's day and age, I hear that you're a master of the creative mind as well. You've actually brought an interdisciplinary masterpiece to light in the form of a book. Tell us about that.
Well, thank you very much for the kind comments. As I mentioned earlier, science and art I don't view as different. Indeed, I wrote a novel called Waves, and it's basically a 21st century Faust, the Faust legend. And it's an integration of science and art, as I mentioned. And in terms of the actual content or the idea, it's a science fiction about this idea of bioelectromagnetics. And it's about the protagonist, a kind of Faust, who's trying to bring this idea to reality. And there are lots of adventures around that. So the specific idea of how we can use this radiation of life for medical purposes, and it turns out there are also, by the way, military applications. So there's a lot of adventures.
아, 그렇군요. 지금 가지고 계신 방대한 지식을 토대로 소설을 쓰셨어요. 이 책의 제목은 바로 Waves인데 주인공이 Bioelectromagnetics, 생체 전자 기학을 좀 소개하려고 하는 현실 세계에서 좀 적용시키려고 하는 것을 주요 어떤 포인트로 그다음에 소설을 이어가고 있다고 설명을 해주셨습니다. 지금 이북인데요. 이게 한 900페이지 정도 된다고 제가 들었습니다. 맞나요?
450.
I see. But when
depends on how it's.
I see. And so, what happens if you don't mind? Could you tell us a little bit about, the plot?
So, as you know from the Faust legend, Faust makes a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
And there's also science and lots of philosophy in the book. It's a very wide-ranging book. So Waves is similar to that. But instead of Faust, the character is called Thomas. And he wants to also bring this idea. He makes a deal with the devil too. In this case, the devil is a hedge fund manager.
I see.
It's a more modern version.
Right.
And of course, to make ideas reality, you have to get investment and all that kind of stuff. So This hedge fund manager has good and evil sides and all that. And as I mentioned, they're both medical and military applications. So they go into a whole series of adventures, and then there are other plots involving the President of the United States, the Prime Minister of Singapore, and adventures in Germany, in the United States, in Hawaii, in Kuala Lumpur, in Singapore, in Tokyo, in Switzerland, all over the world. So it's a global novel.
그렇군요. 그 독일의 파우스트랑 좀 비슷하다. 이런 얘기를 해주셨는데 이 웨이브스의 주인공의 이름은 토마스입니다. 그리고 악마와의 거래가 아니라 헤지펀드 매니저와의 거래가 이루어지는데 이 그 바이오엘렉트로매그네틱스를 가지고 우리가 의학계에서 또는 어떤 뭐 전투를 위한 어떤 적용을 할 수 있을까에 대해서 서로 이제 궁리를 하고 뭐 거래를 하고 이러면서 그 경계선이 좀 아슬아슬한 경계선이 있을 것 같아요. There's a sort of line that you want to cross and not cross at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're trying to allude.
Well, it's interesting. All technology has good and bad sides.
Yes.
And good and evil. So this book explores this not just from the technical perspective, but the human perspective. And that's really important. People talk about AI, and they talk about wearable robots and all these sorts of technologies. But I think it's very important to look not just at the technical, but the social and human side of technology.
And does
the book does that?
The book, of course, looks at the various sides of that
That's
while
correct.
also traveling around the world.
That's right. It's an adventure.
전 세계 여행을 하면서 이 과학이 어떻게 적용이 될 수 있을까, 어떻게 악용이 될 수 있을까, 그리고 또 어떻게 좋게 활용이 될 수 있을까를 탐구하는 그런 내용입니다. 꼭 한번 찾아보시길 바라겠습니다. Waves라는 제목의 책이고요. Now, bringing a Korean version of this book is, I understand, one of your passions at the moment.
Well, it's interesting. Quite a few people have read the book, and I believe there are 20 reviews on Amazon. And 3 people in Korea have read the book, and they actually decided to translate it. They were separate, but they translated different sections. So, In Ji-soon, Chung Yoon-jae, and Park Jae-hyun, friends of mine. So they've actually translated the book. It has not been published or released in Korean yet, but that's one of my goals. I think it would be a really fun book. I know many Koreans, they love science. You remember the movie Interstellar? It was very popular in Korea. What's also interesting is a lot of Korean dramas and a lot of Korean movies, like Parasite, for example, they don't have the standard linear Western plotline.
Yeah.
Waves is very Matrix, very Asian in that sense. So I think this book could appeal, very strongly. So yes, I would like to release it in Korea.
It sounds fascinating. Does Thomas also exchange his soul for all of these?
Kind of.
Oh, okay.
But I don't want to give away too much.
All right, I won't ask too much. I think I'm probing.
Goethe's Faust was an inspiration. Edgar Allan Poe, by the way, there's some aspects of that. Thomas Mann, Somerset Maugham, Milan Kundera, Mikhail Bulgakov, many inspirations for the book.
How long did it take you to write the book?
Well, I was thinking about it for 20 years. But the actual writing in a very intense way took 3 months. And then about 2 years to edit.
그렇군요. 이 책을 쓰기까지 구상만 20년을 했고, 그 다음에 직접 이제 펜을 종이에 딱 닫고 이제 쓰기 시작했을 때는 한 3달 만에 책을 완성했다. 그래도 20년 동안이나 생각을 하고 연구를 하시고, 사실 그 백그라운드 인포메이션에 대한
맞아요.
게 없으면은 이런 소설도 전혀 쓸 수가 없기 때문에 대단한 준비 작업이 아니었나라는 생각이 듭니다. Well, all of this is groundbreaking research. Could you tell us about the practical applications of these?
Yeah, so for example, I mentioned about the electromagnetic manifestations of these proteins, etc.
Right.
So if you go in the airport, they're checking for people with fever. with the infrared camera.
Yeah.
So that's a electromagnetic emission from the body. But it's just heat.
Yes.
That camera just says, oh, they have a fever.
그렇죠. 적외선 감지기를 가지고 열이 있는지 없는지
열이요.
공항에서 검사할 수 있습니다.
Right. But they don't tell you if they're the virus.
아, 그렇죠. 지금 현재 기계로는 몸에 어떤 바이러스가 있는지, 뭐 이게 코로나 바이러스인지 뭔지
맞아요.
그것까지는 알 수 없죠.
Right. So they just tell you if you have a fever. How do we diagnose a virus? You have to take a blood sample,
Yeah.
do DNA, all this stuff, which is very sophisticated. But it's not really looking at it in this way.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had a camera that could see the specific proteins in the coronavirus, because coronavirus, the Wuhan coronavirus,
Right.
is similar to SARS and MERS. It's not the same though. How is it different? Because the proteins on the surface are different. So imagine if the camera could pick that up, either on the surface of this table, hopefully not,
Yeah.
or people are walking and it's somehow on them, or a mask that's infected with it. So being able to detect this at a distance, and then imagine if that same radiation could be used to, move around that protein and disrupt it, effectively killing it.
Wow.
That's the concept.
That would not only change the face of medicine and science, but just for the ordinary person, it would become easier
That's
to
correct.
detect these diseases
And easier
also
to
to
treat.
get rid of it,
That's
treat
just a
it.
real disruption.
That's
my
amazing.
dream and that's my passion.
그렇군요.
But I should emphasize, I apologize for the viewers, this is not available now.
Of course,
Because of course
it is
there's
your
so
dream,
much
it's your passion.
there's so much information about coronavirus and I don't want to create but it's the future and that's my passion.
네, 앞으로 이제 내다보는 말씀을 좀 해주셨는데요. 꿈은 무엇이냐? 생체 전자기학을 활용해서 우리가 지금 열을 감지할 수 있듯이 굉장히 간편하게 바이러스를 감지하는 것뿐만 아니라 치료도 어떤 이렇게 전자파를 통해서 할 수 있다면 얼마나 좋을까?
Yeah, 직접.
직접
Yeah.
네, 그런 얘기를 해주셨습니다. 꼭 그런 날이 오길 바라겠습니다. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I
Professor
really
David
enjoyed
Thompson.
too. Thank you very much.
네,
감사합니다.
오늘 모닝데이트 이렇게 마무리하도록 하겠습니다.